Hi guys, that's BR Crimson Livery 88 speaking with yet another review. Now, as you can see, or in this case, as you can't see, it is a review of some Dapol coaches. Not to get confused, but these are, well, you clearly see it here, but these are actually 00 scale. Dapol have recently, or over the past couple of years, have vastly expanded their range. They used to just basically do 00 gauge wagons and N gauge wagons, but then they started doing N gauge locomotives and coaches. They've also started making 00 gauge locomotives, which are very detailed. Like the Western and the Class 22 diesel. They've also did some special commissions for like Kerno model railways, like the little tank locos and the O2 and all that. But they've vastly increased their range. They've even gone into O gauge now. But in the 00 gauge range, as I mentioned, they mostly do locomotives and wagons, but they also do coaches. Now these coaches are not new. They've been under the Dapol branding for about 2 years now, but these wagons had a long life beforehand, originally being in the Airfix range, sort of the same age as the Hornby Auto Coach, which is also from the Airfix range. Basically, when Airfix the railways came to a sort of end, all the mouldings were sold off, and some went to Dapol and some went to Hornby. And these coaches, in particular, went to Dapol, of course. But as you can, well, as I mentioned, as you can't see, they're wrapped in bubble wrap, which will be explained in a moment. But we'll have a look at the end of the box to explain what they are. And as you can see, this one says 57-foot Stanier coach, non-corridor brake coach in crimson unlined livery. That one at the back is precisely the same. It's the same running number and everything. I basically ended up with the same running numbers. Then this one here is 57-foot Stanier coach, non-corridor composite coach. Basically, so you've got the two brake coaches and the non-brake in the centre. Now I focus on this one, the non-brake, purely because this one I bought in the shop. I bought this one down at Paint and Model Shop. And the reason they're wrapped in bubble wrap, this one wasn't originally wrapped in bubble wrap, is because the boxes, although the coaches are of really good quality for a price, as you can see, £14.50, that's great value for a coach. The boxes, on the other hand, are not so. If I open up this end, I've opened up the silver end so it's easier to open, but there's like this sort of cardboard frame in here, if my hand's out of the way, sorry about that. Which basically sort of holds the coach in place, and the bubble wrap was in there, so the coach was rolling about freely, and they all come like that from the factory, I believe. And in this case, this one was, and all the other ones on the shelf were, including the other type of coach they make, because they also make a corridor version of this, and all of them in a variety of liveries and running numbers. They've got quite a vast collection of them. And basically, because it was rolling around in the box and stuff, damage was inevitable, and this one arrived without a buffer. Well, the buffers is missing. The head of the buffer is missing anyway. It must have snapped off in transit and then fallen out of the box somewhere. But when I bought it, I didn't see it. I didn't see that the buffer was, knocked off. And also, when I opened it, there was no buffer in there. So basically, the buffer must have fallen out in transit somewhere. But Hatton's, I bought 2 of these off of Hatton's because they only had the one in stock down at the model shop when I was down at Painting on holiday. So I ordered one off of Hatton's, and then my good friend, #1 classic car fan, Chris, bought me another one for Christmas. And basically, off of Hatton's, both of them were off of Hatton's. And if I open up one of them from Hatton's, which is the brake coaches, you can see that the cardboard frame's not in there. And what Hatton's did, they must have had customers that bought them, and obviously you were a bit concerned about how they were packed in these boxes. So what Hatton's decided to do was take them out of the box, remove the cardboard frame, and actually wrap them up in bubble wrap, which I think is a great idea and actually keeps them nice and safe. Well, safer than what they are, but as you can see, the boxes are not exactly strong. But these coaches also, as well as coming in ready to run like these, also come in kit form. You can buy them in like a bag of, Dapol do like plastic kits, like Airfix. It's basically the old Airfix railway kits. You could get like a pug and all that, and certain wagons like a meat van and tanker and stuff, along with a variety of other locos and stuff. But these coaches, these kits are slightly different, and they've actually basically, it's like one of these but dismantled. and basically you put it all together and then you put the transfers on the side, which I think is a great idea. And it basically, they're about £4 cheaper. You can pick them up for about £9 to £11, those kits, and these you can pick them up ready to run from £12 on, you know, like Hattons and stuff, I believe, to about, you know, £15 like these, which is excellent value. Obviously I went for the ready to run ones, purely because I didn't want to fiddle around with the transfers, and also they came in a box, which, although is not very good, it does help with storage. But enough of me blabbering on about the boxes. Let's actually see what they actually look like. So we'll have to get them on the track for that, so be right back in a mo. Right, here are all three coaches on the track, and we'll start at this end and work our way along. Now we probably won't go into detail on that one, as it is precisely the same as this one here. It's another brake coach basically, and in fact they are precisely the same as shown earlier with the boxes. So we'll start at this end, as just mentioned, and I must say they are very, very good overall coaches. First thing you notice is the weight when you get them out of the box. They are surprisingly quite weighty, although they don't look like it from the images, especially when you see the images on Hattons and stuff. They look very, very light, especially with the plastic wheels, but no, there's a big metal weight which is inside the frame, you know, inside the interior, running along the chassis in there, and it does really does add stability, and, you know, keeps these coaches on the track. And the plastic wheels are surprisingly smooth running, as you can see. No trouble at all. I did replace these wheels at one point with metal ones, and I found that they did not run as well, so I put the plastic ones back on, and you know, it's really surprising. Just like the Hornby Railroad Mark 1s, although the Mark 1s, I must admit, are probably a bit lighter than these. So it does show that there's quite a bit of weight in these. Anyway, we'll move on to the end. Now the buffers are moulded, as is most of the details on this coach. You can see there's the moulding lines split across the buffer there, but they're not sprung. They are all moulded. There is a separately fitted detail, which is that vacuum brake, and as is with all of them, they all come with these vacuum brakes, as you can see, and they're all what appear to be separately fitted in the factory, which is a very, very nice touch. Now these were originally made by Airfix. And many Airfix was seen as quite a good company, railway company, when they modelled model trains. They don't anymore, obviously. Many of the moulds from their range were sold on to companies like Hornby and Dapol, and obviously Dapol got this mould. But Hornby have a few of the moulds, as you know, with their Auto Coach and their GWR B set, I believe. Those were both in the Airfix range, along with the large Prairie and 45XX, which, of course, are still in manufacture, still being manufactured today, which shows that they are a reasonably good quality. And I can see why Dapol brought these back, along with another type of coach, which I believe is a Stanier corridor coach, which I'm very interested in. Might get a few of those in crimson and cream to go with my Hornby 12-wheel dining coach, which is also in crimson and cream. And ironically, that is of Airfix moulding as well, so they would be the perfect match. We still got the old wide coupling. There's no NEM pocket, but well, I say wide coupling, it's actually a medium-sized coupling. It's not as ghastly as those Hornby ones you see on the wagons, which are absolutely ginormous. This is sort of halfway between NEM, the small ones, and that. So it's not too bad, and I'm not too fussed about the couplings. We come onto the roof. We got all the little roof vent details, if it focuses, and the guttering and stuff like that, all moulded. Then we come on down to the side of the coach bodies, and we got the glazing, and I must admit the glazing is not too good. But then again, most of the details on this wagon, by judging by the looks of it, the model hasn't been modified. Although the liveries of these have been brought up to scratch with modern technology. I must admit the livery is quite crisp on these, although it's only just a running number on the crimson ones, but they do an LMS one which has a lot more detail on it, and they do a later BR version which has a crest in the middle and stuff like that. The bogie detail is actually very, very good. Quite a lot of people were saying on RM Web that these carriages are very, very good little projects. Just a few little bits of detail, like making separately fitted drain pipes at the end, and they could really, really improve these models vastly. But they were quite pleased with the detail on the bogies. Now, one thing that's miffed me a bit is this battery box here. Now, as you can see, it's blank, as is on this side here. And it's also on the other side of that wagon, on this end coach here. But on the other side of it's basically, it's blank on one side, but there's detail on the other side, and there's only one side facing the correct direction this time round, but it's this one on the end, and as you can see, there's the battery boxes there, which you know, I don't know why Airfix, you know, or Dapol, but Dapol aren't going to modify the molds, but I don't know why that feature isn't added on this side. I've noticed it on the other ones as well. But it's just an interesting feature. But you know, once it's going around, you cannot see it, and you know, for the price these coaches are, it's, you know, it's not really worth arguing about it. It's just they're just brilliant value, and they're just such interesting coaches. Coming on to the other end, it's precisely the same as the end we've just looked at, which brings us on to the non-brake version, which is practically the same in detail-wise, on the ends and all. The windows, again, you can see there's the toilet window there, which is actually, you know, got a texture to it, which you obviously, you know, blurs the glass so no one can peek in while you're doing your business in there, if you know what I mean. But this one does have first class compartments on it, and as you can see, they have added the first class logos, which, well, a 1, obviously. And then we've got the running number as well. Again, all crisply added. Then again, we've got the last one, which, as I mentioned, we're not going to go into too much detail, but I'll just quickly show you the battery boxes again. But you know, it's quite nicely picked out. But all in all, these are lovely coaches, and you know, brilliant value. And as mentioned, you can get these in kit form too, which is about £3 to £4 less. I think you could get them from around £9 to £11, I think, in kit form, and then £14 to £15. I believe, in ready to run. Now, I got the ready to run versions purely because all the text and all that is all pre-fitted on the models. With the kit ones, it's actually separate. It's like a water slide transfer, like an Airfix kit itself. So you know, so you do sort of get the edge. You can still sort of see like the part of the transfer paper and all that on there. So I just thought I'll get them ready to run, and also you get the boxes. Although I must admit, as you've seen, the boxes are not good, and as proven with that coach, they don't really protect it. But you know, it gives me a sort of a way of storing them when they're not on the layout. But all in all, these are excellent coaches. I highly recommend these. And you know, when you really compare them, or well, you can't really compare them to anything apart from the Railroad Mark 1. But when you compare them to other non-corridor stock, I mean, like the Hornby version, there they are, the Hornby GWRB set coaches, and they're retailing for well over 20 quid, and they're still the same sort of design as these, and these are £10 less, so it's really a no-brainer. And so they're perfect for Midland region modelers. I'm afraid it's only Midland region coaches at the moment. As I mentioned, the corridor version is also a Stanier Midland coach. But they come in a wide variety of liveries and running numbers. I believe that since I purchased these, there's obviously been loads more running numbers made in these crimson ones, and I believe there's at least 2 of each type. So there's 2 brake running numbers, 2 ones of those, and I believe there's another one of those with 2 running numbers as well. So yeah, you can really build up a vast rake of these. And it's also the same with the corridor coaches. There's about 2 or 3 different liveries, and then in those liveries there's about 2 or 3 different running numbers for each type of coach. So it really is a no-brainer. You could build up an excellent rake for, you know, half the price, considering, well, not half the price, you know, a fraction of the price, considering some of the coaches now are selling for £50 or £60. I mean, I've seen Bachmann's birdcage stock, which they're going to be making. Although I must admit, it's going to be absolutely, you know, the way that Bachmann are going, it's going to be absolutely astonishingly well detailed. It's going to be, they're going to look absolutely beautiful. But you know, 60 quid for a coach. I mean, you know, some locos are not much more than 60 quid. So what would you rather have, one coach or a loco? So, or in this case, build up a rake of about 5 for the price of 1. So yeah, well worth it, and I highly recommend them. But we'll see them running in the next video, as mentioned in the previous review, which was of the Bachmann 45XX, which is waiting over there. We will see these running behind her. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and thanks for watching.